Heather Till's going to federal prison. That's what that's documentation of. Criminal summoning at 12:19 p.m. And it is indeed criminal summoning because you have a specific environment where the sun is not going to be present at the same location for the duration of the day. It's 12:21 p.m. That's called crossing path. This is the light source that's over me, and it's still here at 3:24 p.m. where I'm capturing Heather Till engaging what is federal stalking. This is in concert with LAPD. Sure, go ahead. That's exactly what Lorraine Pena engaged in concert with the same entity. Okay. It's called crossing a path. The entity is doing so while they're monitoring what I'm uploading emailing to Heather Till, which is the same entity, engaging in surveillance both in relevant position and on the venue of the internet. The entity sounding sirens under the light source, which is not the sun, because the sun would not be present at the same property, would be the same location, 3:24 p.m., which is what I captured. The entity group stalking in helicopter while I'm still on the phone with Heather Till after that's 4:12 p.m. is what I captured. And the entity was doing exactly what you heard them doing, flying over my office in a helicopter as I stood here, and you saw them flying right here over my head in this position, and the light source was still here. Here it is here at 4:12 p.m. It was right here, still at the same location. That's not the sun. And that's called surveillance. Tina Ree and everybody else is going to federal prison. Coming to the rent drop box, engaging in surveillance in your car is maintaining presence in the event that I walk outside for purposes of ongoing activity creation. And they're also aware of what I'm composing in email. Okay, that is Yon Kim of 1814 number 4. He's engaging in what is maintenance of presence in the path. This is the ongoing teamwork by the entity that's engaging in surveillance. Surveillance consists of what is activity creation, ongoing movement in this engineered light, and it is entirely demonic. The entity engaging in what is, again, 12:19 p.m. Criminal summoning, that is in the specific environment, which consists of an unnatural environment. The sun is over me as I'm documenting. That's the maintenance of the environment where the people of the state are criminally acting with that government. That government is repeatedly flying over me by helicopter. And even when they're flying at a distance, amplifying, which is demonic, the sound of that helicopter, they also do so with simultaneity to my addressing their criminal activity, which is also how you're recognizing targeting. All right. And it's also demonic. It's monitoring. Everything that's targeting individual, monitoring spirit is maintaining presence all around you, engaging in more noise, engaging in what is presence, engaging in what are methods of light with regard to all of your physical movements and your operation of a communication device, which is surveillance that's occurring online. This surveillance is happening in the workplace online. Okay, so the entity is emailing, defaming through the contents of the email, and I'm responding to the entity, and that's why you have the entity responding in physical, in relevant position, flying over me as I respond, flying over me, and also pacing around in relevant position, maintaining presence. Okay, the entity is doing so. By the way, when you're looking at what is the cloudy day and the light source is covered up, the entity is maintaining presence in the environment, stalking in the path with light when they engage in surveillance in their vehicles and turn on their vehicle lights or drive by or remain parked in the fire lane with their hazards on, engaging in what is presence in the path with methods of light. They're doing the exact same thing. So you're looking at a consistent pattern of conduct, and they're actually demon possessed, and they're all acting together. So what I'm documenting in this email, which is a matter of, again, the prosecution of a malicious entity that is indeed engaged in state surveillance, and it is the entity that's stalking in helicopter that I'm actually responding to, the state of California. Heather is not acting as an individual. She's acting as a third party. Third parties are in the shoes of the state that is keeping you under surveillance, and it is in a very specific environment. It's an unnatural environment, and the state is who is emailing me seeking to criminally defame. That does not work in the with regard to the P.O.C. This is going to be a very thorough and comprehensive federal prosecution and all the ways in which the entity engaged in that criminal system and sought to obstruct justice, and also did it in the workplace. Okay, that's a whole other basis for time in federal prison, and that's continuously what I capture while the entity is engaging in the acts of terrorism as I am responding to that entity. This is entirely psychotic conduct. You're group stalking and monitoring, and then you're seeking to criminally defame and harass while you're asking about that which you are monitoring. You're monitoring my publishing on the venue of the internet about my podcast. You're monitoring while I am capturing documentation. You're mischaracterizing my evidence that as I'm pointing out your criminal conduct, seeking to criminally defame while doing so, as though I lack the ability and the vocabulary to articulate what is both demonic and illegal. That's clearly not illustrated in my documentation, but the entity is doing so with the purpose to falsely depict. And it's also criminal conduct. You can put it however you want. You can put it as eloquently as you want. It's still criminal, but want to be clear, this human resources employee of speaker companies, a third party, is intentionally falsely depicting what is a very specific terms that I use with regard to identifying what is demented in every regard, the demonic pattern of conduct. And as I have specifically pointed that out and using terms and vocabulary that could be understood, even though I'm pointing out to you what is behavior that is unnatural and disturbing and concerted with that state, trying and yet failing at trying to mischaracterize and falsely depict that targeted individual. You can't falsely depict an attorney and somebody that's itemizing your criminal conduct and exposing your demon possession. You can't, that doesn't work. So all this is a third party putting an email together, and it's the state. All of the state is acting in real time as I respond to it. I'm responding to the state in this email. And it's a matter of criminal conduct that the entity is engaging in. And every exercise of fictitious authority is relevant to how long the entire corporate office is going to federal prison. They're all engaged in surveillance together. And as they exercise such fictitious authority, they are adding on to their time in federal prison while the pattern of conduct remains underway. And that's why I have ongoing video documentation of stalking in helicopters while the same exact entity is seeking to obstruct justice. That's going in federal court. Literally, it's going to be individualized by name, from speaker companies to the people of the state living at Alvarado Gardens to the people of the state, the entire state that I've been documenting for years. It is currently 12:27 p.m. This is P.O.C.